It's the end of the world as we know it, and it's depressing and strangely intimate. Netflix original movie, I.O. Hey y'all, it's your Twisted Girl next door here, and today I am reviewing the Netflix original movie, I.O. As a young scientist searches for a way to save a dying Earth, she finds a connection with a man who's racing to catch the last shuttle off the planet. Overall, I thought this movie had an interesting plot line, and the execution is where the problem was when it came to this very interesting plot line. And so, yeah, it has a sense of intimacy, but I think it doesn't necessarily hit the mark in the ways that it had hoped it would. The scenery is really pretty. It's a very, picturesque kind of movie in the sense of that, you see the dystopian, world with the cities, but you also see the countryside. So there's this idea, and I think it was done purposely, the idea of nature still very much happening, even though, humans aren't being able to inhabit this current Earth, but also the places where humans have inhabited the Earth, such as major cities, being in ruins. So I think that was the theme of it, and I think it did a very good job of showcasing that with some of the scenes of what we saw. So the scenery is cool. There's chemistry between the actors, and the only reason why I point that out is because you only have like two characters in this whole entire movie, pretty much. There's a glimpse of a third character and the voice of a fourth, but it's really these two characters. So a lot of the movie depends on their chemistry when it comes to the scenes when there are, dialogue going on. So in that sense, they did have chemistry. And once again, the plot line. I mean, the premise of this story is actually a very cool one. Earth is dying. People have gone to a different planet or space station out in space. And, they're kind of inhabiting there until they can find another planet to ruin. Yes. Good potential, but execution of it was, there's a few cons when it comes to this movie. Slow. This movie is so slow. I'm thinking it's about a little bit over an hour and a half, and a lot of nothing happens. A lot of nothing. I talked about the scenery. That's great. You can't have a whole movie where it's a lot of scenery and a lot of nothing happening, though, because that's not a movie. I don't think that's going to keep anyone's attention. I honestly found myself wandering off because it took a good 20 to 30 minutes before significant things happened. And I'm not talking about just dialogue alone. Sometimes things can happen that have no dialogue in it because you're watching actions. And so that's fine. The movie didn't necessarily have that happening either, though. Just very slow. I think also the dialogue left a lot to be desired. And I know that might sound weird because if you've watched this movie, because one of the things about the dialogue in this movie is that it talks about philosophy, it talks about mythology and things of that nature, which I actually find really interesting. I love mythology. I love legends and things of that nature and folklore. And you would think if the dialogue is trying to interweave that into what is being said about humans and the earth and our legacy we leave behind, that would be a lot more intriguing. And it wasn't. I think this movie tried to be deeper than what it actually achieved in being. No real trigger warnings. Some insects do die. If you're someone who, once again, with animals, I consider insects animals, y'all. And so if you have an issue with that, then that happens like once or twice. No, this movie's not scary. One would argue maybe it's not even that intriguing. But it's definitely not scary. No, it's not stab approved, and that, I honestly, most movies that I review, it takes a lot for me to say, don't watch this. Because I honestly, even with movies I'm not that fond of, I will tell people maybe to check it out for one particular element or this particular thing that's really decent that you can at least check out if you're into that. And I think this movie didn't have enough of anything in particular that stood out for me to recommend anyone to use an hour and a half of their life to sit through it. Did you watch I.O.? What did you think of the movie? Let me know, comment down below. Do you have some recommendations for post-apocalyptic movies that you think I should check out that would blow this one out of the water, which probably wouldn't be very hard to do? Let me know, comment down below. And also, be sure to subscribe so that you are the first to know when I post my videos of all things horror and dark fantasy. Thanks for watching. Let's get creepy together.